Hey everyone, welcome back to Brown Coat Nerd. Today we're going to be looking at the Polish WZ96 Beryl. Now recently it was announced that FB Radom would no longer be producing these, and that Arms of America would no longer be importing them. I think technically we could get more, but my understanding is Arms of America said the next batch that they were in talks about ordering from FB Radom, the price was so high per unit that they did not feel like they would be able to sell them. So these base ones are going for, well, we're listed at 1,600. They had a sell price for basically $100 off for a very long time at Arms of America. So I couldn't imagine what the new price would have been. So these were adopted in 96, hence the name WZ96. The first deliveries of the rifle would not be until 97. Now, a lot of people say this is the only NATO AK, or it's the only AK designed for 5.56 from the ground up. I believe technically the specifics of it is it's the only NATO AK developed specifically for military use. And that comes from Ian at Forgotten Weapons. This wasn't really designed from the ground up for 5.56. This is basically a Polish WZ88 Tantal in 5.45. So I did kind of want to point that specific wording out. It is the only NATO AK developed specifically for military use. I think some other countries used 5.56 AKs in their military, but I believe those originally were for the commercial market. And then got kind of absorbed into the military. One of the unique things about this, it does have an 18-inch barrel rather than just a 16-inch. And it is a 6-groove right-hand 1-in-9 twist, which should stabilize both 55 grain as well as 62 grain 5.56 rounds. So that, again, was very appealing and nice to me. There's basically 3 different versions that the Polish Army used of these. Michiko has a great video going down the kind of evolution of the Beryl. And those can kind of be broken down into the A, B, and C models. Originally, when this gun was built, you would find a Circle 11 stamp on there. And that was the Luxnik factory, which we pretty much refer to as Circle 11 or Radom. That company actually ended up going out of business during production of this rifle. A new company would come in and take its place, and that was called the Radom Arms Factory Fabryki Broni, or FB, which is an older arms manufacturer in Poland. I believe they went out of business after World War II. So this company kind of came back. Flip it around here as I hit stuff. As FB, and they are not actually the old school FB. They've kind of adopted that name. But they took over production of this and continued to make them for the military contracts. And so they're a good company. It's not like they're making stuff just for the commercial market. And then, of course, their new MSBS Grot that they are making is what is replacing the Beryl in the Polish military. So, as I mentioned before, I did purchase this from Arms of America. Let's swing this around without hitting crap, maybe. I did kind of panic purchase this. Right? I was thinking about getting a 5.56 AK. That's really been on my mind a whole bunch. And then they announced that Arms of America would no longer be bringing them in. And I totally panicked. I was slowly watching Atlantic Firearms stock dwindle. Then I discovered that I could buy one from Arms of America and actually just put it on layaway. At the time, I was a little bit short on cash, but I really wanted to get one. So I actually went ahead and took my WZ88. Some of you guys are going to think I'm crazy for this. It was a Century build, and I've got a review on that. And I'm pretty sure in that review, it was the first AK I ever shot. Ended up buying it for my friend years later. Pretty sure in that video I say this isn't a gun that I will never let go out of my collection. And just a few months later, or a year or two, ended up putting that on consignment. Got a decent amount for it, not as much as I was hoping for. And so I got the majority of this money, but I wanted to hurry up and just put it on layaway to kind of, grab mine while I could. Now, currently, Arms of America does still have the 5.56 versions in stock, and that kind of surprised me. So as of making this video, it might be out. I'm putting out this video in like 2 days. They might be out by then. If they aren't, I imagine they will be out very soon. There was a version of this in 7.62 by 39, and I believe Ethiopia, some African country, had purchased them as a contract from FB Radom, and so they did make a version of that too, like what they had. And those ones actually have a 16-inch barrel. Those are gone. Those are sold out. But the 5.56 are still around. Also, it is worth pointing out, there was a shorter barrel. I think it was a 10-inch barrel version of this that they were also offering. And they did not bring in many of those at all. And those have long since sold out as well. Also, Arms of America is not the first importer of this gun. IO imported some, and I think there was a second company. Once again, Michiko has a really good video going over those early importations. There was not very many, and they seemed to have like had them forever, couldn't get rid of them, and then they finally sold out of them, and the prices of these were like stupid high. I think Michiko said he saw them going for like around $3,000 and $4,000. So I feel really bad if someone bought one of those, because now you can get them for $1,500. Well, for a little while you can get them for $1,500. So I printed off basically my options when I ordered this. I thought that'd be kind of neat, because you do have quite a few options from Arms of America to kind of make this a little bit more unique. And I really didn't use any of those options. I got the little eagle, and that was about it. So, starting out with the standard one here, your first option would be for the muzzle device. You had the option of none, or you could get no barrel, threads, or muzzle device, which I'm pretty sure is also the same as none. You could also get threaded 1/2x28 with a U.S. style Beryl bake. Obviously, all of these do have a U.S. copy of the Beryl bake for 922R compliance. Another option, which is the one that I went with, was threaded 14x1 with the U.S. Beryl style brake. And then the last option, which I almost went for, no threads, original FB Radom press and pin brake install. And that one was a $100 upcharge. All the other options, it did not affect the cost at all. And originally, the military, they would be pinned on. And so I thought about doing it just simply because that's how the military had it. Kind of want to do a clone, but at the same time, I want the option to do my own thing on this. The main reason the military had it pinned on was because they're launching rifle grenades. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be doing that. Michiko does mention in one of his videos that it was for launching rifle grenades as well as accuracy. I'm not really sure how that affects accuracy. I do know that I am not that good of a shot for it to affect my accuracy. So I went ahead and went with the 14x1. That way I can just kind of throw on any AK style brake if I do want to change it up. People also freak out because this doesn't have, obviously you can't push it up against the front sight. There's no little brake indent to lock it into place. You can just use like a washer or a locking nut, and you can still get a brake on here and time it to where you want. Or if you get something like a flash shiner, it doesn't matter, just spin that puppy on. So your next option is your free rifle bag. I did not print off the color or the page that had the different colors the rifle bag came in. At the time that I ordered it, there was only one color option available, and that was the tan, which I'm fine with. You do get a spot there for patches. I did purchase the Polish and FB Radom patch from AOA separately. And then you got several spots here for several different mags. Got a little handle up there. There's no storage spots inside. And you got a little spot with your name tag in case it gets lost. And it does have a shoulder strap. So you get the free case, which at some point in my ordering, and I should have printed that off, I'm pretty sure it said free case, but it was like a $25 processing fee or something. So I don't know if that case is actually for free. Either way, I still would have paid $25 to have the $1,500 gun shipped in it, though. So I'm not upset with that or anything. So going on with the options, we have band state compliance. I guess this is over the mags. Option of none. Option of remove included mag from shipment. And then the option of band state compliance, swap 30 round mag for 10 round WBP mag. And then the last option is pin mag to 10 rounds, and that costs $7. So I imagine that's just a 30 round mag pin to 10 rounds. Your pistol grip compliance option is none, which would just be, non-Californians pistol grip. And then you have the option of the California compliance install AK hammer battle fin featureless AK grip fin, and that was $15. Handguard. You've got the option of none, which is just your standard one, and this is the original Polish Beryl handguard that it came with. Then you can also get the Picatinny handguard, which is what the military uses. It's a quad handguard. It's lower and upper handguard. And that was $189. I did buy that. It's here somewhere. I just haven't put it on yet. And that was $189. You do have the option to have Arms of America go ahead and install that handguard for you at no charge. And then it does look like at one point they were offering a TDI X47 AK Alpha Rail chassis for $269, and I think that enclosed stuff. It looks rather bulky and complex. And it looks like that one was at $269. I don't know if this is an option that actually ever happened or not. If you go to AOA's face or website, you will see that they also talk about a 22LR version of this. And it kind of looks like they're just sold out. Those never ended up coming into the country. Those were still $1,500 for the 22LR version. And I think they realized that those just weren't going to sell. So they have it listed on their website like it's something that they at one point had in stock. And I got really curious about this, so I went digging around and discovered it is something that FB makes. None of them had ever been imported into the U.S., and I guess Arms of America was thinking about it, but ultimately decided it wasn't worth it, and so that never happened. So I don't know if this TDI X47 AK Alpha Rail is the same deal. Moving on. Like I said, they offered, do you want to install the handguard free of charge? So you had that option. The Beryl telescoping buttstock. So you can either get the gun with the standard buttstock or a standard buttstock. The Beryl actually never had a fixed stock like this. They originally came with a tubular folding stock, and then later they would get the collapsible buttstock, which is currently on my links if you're curious what that looks like. But they also offer that buttstock, and that was $200. Show their next option. The Beryl optic rail, and that's the rail that goes over the top here. They do offer, or did offer, that for $159. The next thing they have is the laser engraving, and that's the one thing I took them up on. I didn't know some of the Atlantic builds would have the laser engraving, some of them wouldn't. A lot of the WBPs you'll see with the Polish Eagle on there. A lot of the Pioneer Arms Radom imports had the Eagle on there, which I don't want to be associated with those. But I thought the Eagle looked kind of cool. I was torn on getting this. Now, it only cost me $20. I do, like I said, I think it looks cool. For a clone, the military did not have these. So, not clone correct. A little gaudy, a little cheesy, maybe. I'm not even fucking Polish, man. But it looks kind of cool. Now, looking through a bunch of YouTube videos on these guns, quite a few of them are in the hands of Polish civilians, so they do sell the semi-automatic version over there. Very interesting watching those videos. Those, they look like they come with like a 10 or 20 round WBP mag, and a lot of them do have that Polish Eagle on there, so they think it's cool too. Of course, it makes a little more sense for them. So you can get the Polish Eagle engraved, or you guys are going to have to forgive me. I looked this up too. It's kind of like their call to arms. I'll just show you from my notes here. The P and the J, the anchor thingy. You had that option too. So I went with the Polish Eagle. Then they have a pin and weld service. Quotations may result in minor paint scratch. And this is to some of these you had to like click on them to see exactly what they meant. So this was the Beryl front end pin and weld conversion, uses original gas block, front sight, and Beryl style brake. So yeah, the image they have, I think what they're doing is they were cutting the barrel down and they would pin and weld that brake right up to the front sight block. You can kind of see that image there. Like I said, a lot of these options, they weren't clear, and I had to click on the image, and then the image would have really fine print as to exactly what was going on there. Then you also have the option, which I think it's one of those things that never ended up actually happening. Install left side selector. Now this is the fire control group on the Tantal and Beryl. So right over here you'd have a little, on the Beryls it was a twin leg thing, kind of looking like that instead of the single like on the Tantal. But this is where you selected between semi-auto, 3-round burst, and full auto. This guy here is purely just a safety. Also, it's worth pointing out, see that little bump in the dust cover? That's for when the top leg got kind of close to the top, so it wouldn't interfere with the dust cover. But it looks like AOA, Arms of America, was going to offer that little selector be installed. I think some of the early imports, which most of those were called the Archer, did have that. Now, it does absolutely nothing. I don't even think it was connected to the safety like a lot of the Tantal builds were. And that option was going to be $99 if they ever offered it. I don't think I've seen any of them that have that little fire select on there. And if you're curious if you can just get that fire selector and throw it in there, you cannot. The receiver is slightly different. I actually have a Polish Tantal receiver here, like a legit receiver. Unfortunately, it was damaged slightly in shipping. So, yeah. But, let's see. That's the safety. So this is where your fire selector would be. See, it's kind of like a keyhole. It's not just a hole. And on the Beryls, I think this metal is actually just kind of pushed up a little bit there. So it's not something you can just throw on any receiver. It's got to be cut specifically for that. You can kind of see the fire control options there. Also, I might as well show you for the safety. Z for safe and O for fire. And that is how the Beryl ones for the military were made as well. Obviously, the semi-auto ones for the American market are marked S and F, which is kind of unfortunate. I wish they would have stuck with the original markings on there. So, I put down my notes and mixed them up. Shit. Was that the last option there? That wasn't the last option. Okay, so that fire selector safety thingy. Yeah, that was the last option. So you didn't have a whole lot of customization, I guess, to do from Arms of America. Mostly doing with the barrel length and the type of threads you wanted to be put on there. Okay, so before I get too distracted, because I'm all over the place, one thing I did want to point out, resources for you guys. If you are looking for history of this gun, and that's what you want, Michiko has got a ton of videos. I mean, a lot of videos on the Beryl out there. Go through all of them. They're worth it. Surprise, surprise, Forgotten Weapons has got a couple good videos on these as well. If you just wanted to see someone's experience with shooting them or running them, 9-Hole Review's got a video on it. That one's actually pretty fun because he spent some time working alongside the Polish military. And then Clayco. It's got a whole bunch of videos of him running and gunning with his Beryl. One thing that I have discovered, apparently these can be a little picky with the mags. Now, if you order it from Arms of America, you're going to get it shipped to you with the original mag. If you order it from Atlantic Firearms, which, if you are, you've already done that because they're sold out now. But they included the original fire control group and an American-made mag. So they just kind of swapped those two around. The Arms of America one does come. It did come with the original fire control group as well as hammer. That's a semi-auto fire control group. But they've got to put it in a US one. You've got to have so many parts for a imported rifle to meet what they call 922R compliance. I'm not going to jump down that rabbit hole. But so that's how those two companies did it slightly different. Ordering experience was pretty good with them. I did have some questions. I called once, got a hold of a guy. He answered my questions. I found it did come with the milled out bayonet lugs, which the earlier ones did not. After that, I could never get a hold of anyone there. And at one point, I randomly got a recording saying, hey, get a hold of us by texting. And I never ever got that recording again, just that one time. So the same number that you call, I discovered if you text that, they're very responsive, very fast at getting back with you with any questions that you have. Before I get too distracted, let's kind of go down this from front to butt. So up front, we do have that muzzle brake, a rather interesting one. As you can see, we have 4 holes total on the bottom there, and only 2 on the top and to the right, which seems counterintuitive to everything I've learned about muzzle brakes, but that's how they did it. I have shot this about 245 rounds, I believe it was, testing out lots of different mags, and I mean it did fine, no issues. We do have the Tantle front sight, and like I said, the earlier ones, this bayonet lug didn't have like the little section there cut out. Arms of America is doing that to all of them now. The gas block, once again, this is the Polish Tantle gas block. We have a little collar here for the bipod that the Tantle had. Now, one thing that did happen here is we are missing the accessory lug. That has been milled off. Some of the earlier imports did not have it milled off. Some people also say something got milled off back here. Nothing's milled off there. They just needed the extra material for the pin, but up front definitely had a accessory lug milled off, and that was for the underbarrel rifle grenade or grenade launcher. That accessory lug would also have a little nub that stuck out, and that way you could still use that Tantle bipod. And in that bipod, please be nearby. Yes, you are. We've got a little cutout right there, and in the Tantle had a cleaning rod, and so that would get caught in there. So if you had the gun up, it would only twist so far to the side. It wouldn't completely twist over. The Beryl was not issued with a cleaning rod on the gun. I believe it was either a 2 or 3 piece collapsible one that they would just carry in their mag pouch. But to keep that, the gun from swinging too much on the bipod, this accessory lug here, on the military ones at least, would have like a little faux cleaning rod sticking out just enough to, touch that bipod to prevent it from swinging too much. You will notice we do have a hole for a cleaning rod. I'm guessing that's just something carried over from the Tantle. I have seen people take Tantle cleaning rods, and I think they have to open up the bottom of the bayonet lug here a little bit, but they're able to get them to fit in there just fine. So if you do want to go that route, you can. Tantle cleaning rods are probably not the cheapest cleaning rod to get, but that is an option for you. Get to the handguards. One other thing I want to point out. The early Beryls did not have a sling attachment on the right side, just on the left. And at some point they put one on either side. Also the muzzle brake, very close reproduction of the original. Obviously we don't have the holes for the pins. We're also missing the retainer ring for the rifle grenade launcher. At some point they made a slightly different muzzle brake, Poland did, and it had like a recess back here. It was still pinned on. It looked the same, like the same muzzle brake. I do not know the reasoning for that different style brake. And then there's been lots of talk of a flash hider that they switched to. I looked everywhere to find a flash hider style brake on a full length Beryl. Now the short one did have a kind of a flash hider booster style brake on it. And I could not find one until I came across a video of Forgotten Weapons. They're doing a video on the MSBS Grot, and Ian's like at the factory and he pulls out a Beryl. You can't see it very well, but I swear to God that one actually has a full birdcage flash hider on there. So I think it's something that eventually FB probably offered, but maybe never got put on any of the military contract ones. Handguard. This is where we get into the area of people saying, oh, the Beryl sucks because all the furniture is proprietary. They're like Zestavas. Not nearly as bad as Zestavas. The lower handguard, oh, I meant to grab that. I have a black polymer one, the standard one. That fits on here. Anyways, lower handguard, you're fine. You can actually use any AKM lower handguard. You're good to go. The upper handguard, you're kind of screwed there. You're stuck with the Beryl one, which is black plastic. You could use a Polish Tantal one, which is like a dark plum if you wanted. Then, of course, their quad rail handguard. You can put just the upper portion alone on here and use the standard lower handguard if you wanted to do that for some reason. I did it. It looked rather Tapco-y to me, so I took it off very quickly. And then Arms of America was also making an adapter. I have not seen this offered in a very long time. But it's a little milled metal adapter that sits back here. And with that adapter, you can use any standard gas tube cover. So if you want to go with like the classic wood look, you can do that. Now, I think those adapters were like 60 or 80 bucks. And like I said, they've been out of stock for a while. So don't know how easy that will be to do, but it is an option. You also see this little tab thing on the bottom. Once again, that has to do with the underbarrel grenade launcher. The handguard does look kind of goofy, but I will say it works very well. Even though we've got these little hand stops to prevent you from hitting the sling loop there. When I took this out and fired 240 rounds in the matter of about 30 minutes, I still managed to burn the living crap out of my thumb. However, if that wasn't there, it would be that much worse. It's a nice handguard. I do not like the look of it. I remember years ago when I first saw these, before AOA started bringing them in, I was like, I want to get one just because of handguard. And I still feel that way, but it's a very comfortable handguard. I do really like the hand stop up front there. So it is a good handguard. It's not the most AK handguard, but whatever. Mags, I think I was getting ready to bring this up. Apparently these can be rather finicky with the mags and the type of mag you use. Now, Austin Armory, he has actually got, I think, 2 videos, maybe 3, going over the different mags that you can use in these Beryls, and he tries a very wide variety of them and has some rather interesting malfunctions with one of them. So definitely go check his videos out as far as mag related stuff. He does a really good job of it, and also apparently watches my channel. He commented on the Beryl stock on the links a while ago. That kind of surprised me. Our safety is the enhanced. So this is the safety they started using, I think, on the B or the C variant. This was not on the original Tantal. These stick out quite a bit, but they are not sharp at all. Like, they did a really good job of machining these. Like, I would hit this a couple times when I was out shooting it, and I mean, I rubbed my hand across it pretty hard several times, and nothing. They really did a good job of making these not sharp. So it might look sharp and uncomfortable, but it's not. It's very nice. Another thing they did, enlarge the mag release. Once again, the original ones just had a standard mag release, and with the B or the C, they enlarged it to that larger one. Pistol grip, just any standard AK pistol grip will work on here. I really hate the fact that I left my fatty, perfect condition Bakelite Polish grip on the Tantal when I got rid of it. That was a mistake. Buttstock, the Beryl never originally came with a fixed buttstock. It was always a side folding buttstock or the collapsible buttstock. Once again, this kind of is proprietary. You can get most buttstocks to work on these without an issue. The thing is, this rear section that's for the clamping of the dust, the pick rail that goes over the dust cover, you got to shave just a little bit off on your buttstock in order to get it fit. I've seen people talk about shaving that portion off, which I would not recommend doing. But just a little bit of Dremel work on your buttstock. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure that these were Dremeled on. I'm sure these were just standard buttstocks and Dremeled on by AOA. So buttstocks, once again, not really proprietary. You got to do a little bit of work. It comes with the world's most rattly rear sling attachment in the world. Seriously, this thing is stupid loud. As a matter of fact, Austin's Armory video takes me, he's like, wow, this is really rattly. But it's just that rear swing swivel. Like, that thing will get you killed. Metal end plate on there. We do have a trap door, which is plastic, for a cleaning kit. So if you want to go that route, you can. I would not recommend buying a Beryl cleaning kit off of eBay because they're stupid expensive. I just got a Polish Tantal kit, I think from Apex. Very cheap. And it's probably the exact same cleaning kit that they used on the Beryl. So I'm fine with that. Don't even plan on keeping this butt stock, but I did that anyways. Bayonet. I do not think Arms of America is offering the Polish bayonets anymore, but they were for a while. So, of course, I had to get one. Comes with a black metal sheath and beautiful Bakelite grip. And once again, I think it was an option of like 15 or 20 bucks. I don't know why I did it. Once again, it's kind of gaudy and overkill, especially when I've already got an eagle right there. I had them laser engrave one on the sheath. I mean, they offered it. You can't offer me stupid crap like this and not expect me to take you up on that. On top of that, oh, the mag's buried. I've got a 7.62 by 39 Polish metal mag that also has the eagle engraving on it. Once again, they offer that JP or J Anchor thing that we'll call the arms doodad, but it's a nice one. Of course, the Polish do not have the teeth up there. If you like the Bakelite look, but you want to go all out, damn it, once again, I don't have it out. But Bulgaria, they do have like the full Bakelite sheath as well. If you want to do that. So, I know this video has been kind of all over the place. Like I said, I did take it out. I'll have other videos going over the mags that I have used, especially going over the accessories for this, so there'll be more to come there. Some of my favorite mags. So we got to do the honorable mentions. First of all, if you're going to get one of these, you've got to get a Bake with the Pod Arms follower. And the glare, you can't see that. Pod Arms followers. There you go. You just change out the follower, and you can use 5.56. Now, I took a bunch of mags out with me when I went shooting. I only shot one full mag for each mag, so I kind of wanted to get a base. And everything worked pretty well. Also, a big fat thank you to Soviet Stocks for hooking me up with this guy. This Beryl showed up, and all of a sudden, I didn't realize that Bakelights had dried up as badly as they had, especially the 5.45 ones. And I saw him advertising that he had some. And this is a Izvizha or whatever. Arrow in the triangle. And like I said, I only got to test this with one full mag for the Bakelite and that Pod Arms follower, but it worked great. So thank you, Soviet Stocks, for getting me that when I needed it. Another fun one. Pod Arms follower says their followers are only good in 30 round mags and in the polymer mags, not for use in metal mags or 40 round mags. But I had misplaced this Polish metal Tantal mag when I sold my Tantal. So grudgingly, I threw in my Plum Bulgarian mag, so I wanted the guy to at least have two mags. And then, of course, as soon as it sold, I found the mag. And I was like, what the F am I going to do with that? So I went ahead and put in the Pod Arms followers. Now, the owner of Pod Arms mentioned this little nub here is the reason they recommend not using it with metal mags. And in the few pictures I could find, this metal nub on the Tantal mag, or at least what I believe is the Tantal mag, seems to stick out a little less than the metal nub in some of the other pictures. Hard to say going from pictures, but I loaded her up with 30 rounds, and it fired all 30. Like I said, it was just the one run with, I was trying out several mags, but I was very happy to report that the old school Tantal mag does work. And there's just something about the metal freaking mag. Like, you don't see metal 5.56 AK mags. And then the fact that this is, technically a Polish mag. So I was very happy with that. Hell, I'll probably send that off to get laser engraved with that damn Polish eagle. And then the other mag, I was really surprised by, and I'd only just recently heard about these. 5.56 AKs kind of suck because there's really not any good quote-unquote high-capacity mags. But I found this. This is an AC Unity 45 round quad stack mag. This is, what gen is this? It's labeled as a Gen 1. I don't think they came out with Gen 2s. Now, supposedly, the other quad stack mag company, the German one, the Schmeiser or whatever, allegedly, and I couldn't find anything on this, that company started suing AC Unity when AC Unity came out with the quad stack mags. Now, the Schmeiser company is not the only company to come out with a quad stack mag. They're definitely not the first. So I don't know if there's any truth to that. However, I did notice that these are very hard to find, and they actually sold them in a 45 round version as well as a 60 round version. I cannot find that 60 round version anywhere. I got this 45 round version from Ordnance something or other. It's the only place that's gonna Auto Ordnance. Maybe we should just say that and hope that's the correct company. It had Ordnance in the name. Guys, I have very little time, and I realized I needed to film the video tonight or it wasn't going to come out on time, and so my notes are complete garbage. I'm really sorry. Also, I'm sorry. I can't remember your name at Soviet Stocks. Chatted with him quite a bit. That's a really good company. Dude actually gives a big shit about his customers, so very happy with them. Whatever your name is. But no, 45 quad stack mag. I've never heard good things about quad stack mags. Had very little faith. Also, I did have to sand a little bit on that back lug, and it's still... not the easiest to get in there. The one mag I ran, it ran all 45 rounds, which is why I'm sitting at a weird 245 round total for this. This gun got really freaking hot. I should have worn a glove that day. So maybe the last thing we will do... I know, yes, the whole time we were empty. I'm going to take this apart so you can see the bolt carrier. This does have a G3 trigger. Second time making this video, so I'm not sure where I left off. Most of them will come with fine group triggers. I think they use the G3 trigger. It's a different company, but they call it the G3. Whenever they run out of the fine group triggers. I found a video several years older than where we're at now. With the Beryl, and that guy had the G3 trigger. So, like I said, I don't think it's a common thing they do. And I definitely over-greased this. I'm about to get everything dirty. So, I kind of wanted to change the trigger out. Sorry, guys. Didn't mean to shake you all up. With the original Polish one, quite a bit of wear there. Before shooting it, just because I didn't want to deform my bolt carrier. But I didn't do that because these Polish triggers and the Tantal and the Beryl are slightly different. There's no hooks on the... Sorry, I got distracted by the spring. Anyhow. Oh, I really should take medication to keep on track here. Let's get that guy out of there. So... 245 rounds. Okay, I was kind of peeking at it through the little safety opening there, and it looked a lot worse than what it actually is. That's not bad at all. That is way too much grease I put on this, though. Yeah. I mean, it's only 245 rounds. It shouldn't be deformed. Got quite a bit of rubbing going on up there. And then, I know, I'm no M26 lemon grenade. I don't know what the hell I'm looking at here. Clean the bolt up a little bit. Lighting's not the best here. I don't see anything unusual. And I'm sorry, all of the people out there hoping I'm going to take the gas tube off and go, nope. I like the channel. I like his channel. Was it AK Operators Union? But I could do without the ARG. Although I get it, that's kind of his thing. Fortunately, that's my thing with Beretta Cheetos. I don't think I'm going to get any more just so I don't have to do the cheetah sound. But yeah, and it was pretty darn accurate, guys. I'm not the best shot in the world. I'm not going to lie to you, especially as I get older. And then especially as I was going through all those mags and the heat waves were just coming off of this and I was really squinting. This thing maintained to be accurate. I was very, very happy with it. So do I recommend getting the FB Radom Beryl? Absolutely. Absolutely do. Love this gun. I've only had it out once. But yeah, I really, really enjoy it. So wanted to get this video out there, let you guys know some of your options. I think it's a good buy. If you want a 5.56 AK, get one of these now. I don't mean to scare you into purchasing one, kind of like what I did, but I do not regret getting rid of my Tantal at all for this. I'm very happy. Once these are gone, our other 5.56 AK options are pretty much going to be WBP, which I have seen issues with their firing pin, much like what PSA is having, specifically with the 5.56 AKs. And then you have the option of Zastava, which I've had good experience with the one Zastava I have. It's an M92, an older one. Zastava gets a shit ton of hate. Boy, they got hate before, and they really get it now. Like I said, with my experience, it's been good. I wouldn't be scared of buying a Zastava, but they're heavy. And I do kind of like that this, was a standard military issue. So honestly, with those three, the WBP, the Zastava, and the FB, I think the FB is your best choice. Not that the other two are bad, but the FB is, it's your best choice. So that is it, guys. I'm going to have more videos on this gun going over accessories, what mags worked. Hopefully I won't have a video on what mags didn't work. Taking a lot of notes from Austin's Armory there on that. So stay tuned. If you want to see some more videos on this guy, I will definitely have them out. Some shorts. Normally the later video of the month, go over something gun related. Sometimes I try to spread it out. I'll do like a Stranger Things flashlight or, the Mandalorian's Razor Crest. I have recently started collecting Casio watches, so do not be surprised if the later week videos are going over Casio watches. I may have gotten just a little carried away. There's another one showing up today. But that is it, guys. That's all I've got for you. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider liking and subscribing. Of course, check me out on Instagram as well as Rumble. And as always, stay safe and stay shiny.